Hey, what's happening? The trip went well last week over to the hill country of Texas from Mississippi and back on my Sportster chopper, namely the Tramp, which is what I call it. Some of you know that already. Yeah, I've got some maintenance to do on the Tramp, but however, come home to an issue I didn't realize I had on this bike right here. It's my 2012 Heritage Softail. Believe it or not, it's leaking more oil than the Tramp. Huh, imagine that. More modern than what I put together. It's leaking from the drain hose of the oil tank. Figured I'll tackle this myself, and rather than take it to the Harley shop, who's gonna charge me like $95 an hour or $65 an hour to do that. The heck with that. I really don't know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna figure it out by myself. So, should be difficult, should not be difficult, who knows. I've never messed with it, but this is what I got happening. This is the mess it left me, even though it's not that big a deal. I mean, most people say, well, it is a Harley, you know. Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, and they leak sometimes, but this bike shouldn't leak like that. So I got to looking. It's dripping from down here and dripping off of the frame back here in the back, and I traced it. You can't see because of the shadows, but there's a drain hose comes up from here all the way down here and down to the frame, and it's soaking wet with oil, and I got a better look up underneath, which I can't get because I don't have a sufficient amount of lighting for you guys to see. So I got the oil draining out of it right now, and I'm gonna have to pull this tank out to see what's going on, and I'm really excited, not excited to see how that's going to go, because I never thought I had to mess with this. There seems to be a lot of stuff in the way, a lot of crap down here. I've got the battery out and everything, but let's see what happens. Okay, let's see if it's done draining, and it sure looks like it. That is quite an amount of oil that come out of that little 3-quart tank. So let's see what happens next. Okay, so far this has been quite a job. I thought it wasn't going to be easy, and I was right. It's not that easy, but it's not brain surgery either. So far, had to remove this wheel back a little bit so I can get to some bolts back here that hold on down in there. I don't know if you can see all that, but the bolts run in from the back side of the fender. In order to disconnect oil lines, I'd get the exhaust out of the way, and still have yet to get to the drain hose because I just totally inaccessible at the moment. So I'm assuming that I will have to just somewhat move the tank, but we'll see what happens next. Here I am again, and it was a little bit of an ordeal, and yet I went through a little bit of an ordeal I apparently didn't have to go through because, again, I don't know no better. So I know better now. Hopefully you learn from my mistakes, but it's not a big mistake. But here's the deal. Took oil lines off, you know, this crap here, removed this oil line, removed a bunch of stuff here, thinking I was going to have to pull this tank off, and took the exhaust off when I didn't have to, and it came off so easy. You know, the only time stuff comes apart easy is when you didn't have to take it apart. I made a big mess of my wiring harness and stuff, thinking I was going to have to remove it to get the tank out, and after realizing that my wiring harness runs through the oil tank, and I don't know how the heck to get that apart. All I really had to do was just remove the wheel, like I've done, remove that plastic shroud from out of here, and I even unbolted the oil tank and stuff here, thinking I had to get to those, when in real life, right back there, that thing sticking out parallel is where the hose comes out, and it connects right to that little thing right there that's in the dark. In other words, very accessible once I pull that shroud off. Hey, maybe I should have YouTubed it first. Wouldn't that have been a novel idea? Imagine that. The leak was coming from the hose itself, which here's the top part. I'm gonna see if I can get out here in the sun where you can see. I don't know if that helps or not, but see if you can see that there are some cracks in the hose when I squeeze that. Whenever I squeeze that, there's some, I don't know if you can see it, but that's where it was leaking from right there. So my next thing to do is to go down to the local dealership and see if they actually have one of these. Okay, we're here at Slidell Harley Davidson dealership. Well, dealership, that's not fair. I shouldn't call them dealership. They're pretty cool guys. Anyway, let's go inside and see if they got one of these. I can't believe it. I'm in here in the parts section, and look, they have the part. Imagine that. And on top of that, they fed me chicken. It's a pretty cool place. All the loud music is about, that's a little bit of a celebration when someone buys a new bike. Then they have a big celebration. They dance around in the place like wild Indians and congratulate the guys, whoever they are, that bought the motorcycle. This is a pretty cool place. This is where I bought my Softail at. And normally Biloxi doesn't have what I need. Sometimes these guys have what I need, but no doubt when the Tramp needs parts, nobody has what I need. So I pretty much have to eBay that stuff. But yeah, come check out Slidell, Northshore Harley Davidson in Slidell, Louisiana. They're pretty nice people here. Well, I'm back at the house. Got my part from the Harley shop. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing on. Okay, fast forward a bit. Got the rear exhaust put back on. We've got all the oil lines put back in place. Got it bolted down where it needs to go. Got these bolts in back here, back in there. There's the new line right there. And there it is, hooked in. Let me get the light in there. There it is, hooked in right there in the oil tank right there. What's left to do now is to put the wheel back on and return the motorcycle back to earth, and also clean up my mess I made right here and put the battery back in. Let's see if I can get this thing on. And just like that, it's all back together. Got the wheel back on, cleaned up my mess underneath the seat, got the battery back in it. I got the seat back on, motorcycle's back down to the ground, everything's back together like it was. I mean, it was perfect timing for that hose to go bad because it's got to change the oil anyway. So I'm going to go down to the Harley shop and get some oil. But thanks for watching. I hope you learned from my mistakes and ignorance, but I have learned now what not to do and when you got to change one of those hoses, and hopefully if you got one of these you know what not to do as well. And if you happen to like this, don't forget to like, subscribe for more content and for more videos coming up. Bye now.